Okay. I know Christmas was like 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? But still, I want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to. Feel me? I'm still in we're still in the Christmas story, Christmas spirit, technically, you know. So why not react to some apparently three scary real Christmas horror stories? You know I don't get scared. I never get scared. Go watch my past scary videos, scary reactions. You know I never get scared. But hey, let's get into it. Let's see what this one has in store for us. Y'all want captions? I don't know. What am I talking to?
It was Christmas Eve night. We always
Okay.
hosted Christmas Eve at our house when I was a kid. My grandparents, uncles, and my cousins would always come. This year I must have been like 12. My mom was there this year because
Oh.
my dad duck as she always did on Christmas Eve. I was helping her cook and prepare this year because my dad actually had a really bad cold and was trying to not touch anything or stay too close to anyone. Our
Hmm.
family slowly started showing up one by one. My uncle Joe first with my cousins Chris and Valerie. They were the
Yep.
closest in age to me, so I've always been closest with them out of all my cousins. As soon as they got there, I got distracted from helping out my
I'm gonna put
mom
captions on.
because Chris brought over a video game for my PlayStation that I'd been wanting to play, Driver 2.
What
He
game is
ran
that?
upstairs to my room to put the disc in and play, and Valerie came just to watch.
You also use
But
this.
within a few minutes, my mom called my name up the stairs angrily, ruining the fun. I was hoping she'd just let me play, but she was already stressed from the amount of work that cooking and preparing for a big family is.
Hmm.
So we had to resume playing the game later. We left it on pause, and all three of us went back downstairs. Most family had arrived already. I was juggling saying hi to everybody while helping set up the table and stuff.
You're
Within
hardworking. Yo,
half an
what's that on
hour,
the?
the whole family was
The
there,
hell is that
and
on the
dinner was
shelf?
almost ready. The table was already set, and half the family was already at the dinner table, including myself. Then I remembered my mom yelling, "Ah, shit." She yelled for me to run
What?
to the basement to grab the stuffing, which she forgot to make.
Oh
Our house
no.
didn't have an actual pantry closet, so my mom used the backside of the bar in the basement as a pantry. I
Okay.
went down to the basement to fetch the stuffing. I was behind the
Nice
bar looking
house.
for the damn stuff when I noticed a blanket covering something in the corner next to the two sofas. At first glance, I assumed it was a person, one of my cousins hiding, trying to scare me. As I walked a
Okay.
little closer, I could confirm it was a person based on the shape of what was underneath the blanket. I could see the
Okay.
person's head. I
Bro,
stood there
I
waiting to
would have
see if they'd
been from
react to my
afar.
not making noise.
Bro, I would have been from afar, threw like rock, bro. Anything, bro. I'm not approaching that in a dark room. I would have thrown anything at it.
I was wondering how he or she would know when to jump out to scare me if they couldn't see me under that blanket. Suddenly, the lights to the basement turned off, and I heard the basement door
I would
slam
have been
shut.
gone. I would have been gone.
I yelled, "Screw you," to whoever it was, Valerie or Chris. I knew it was one of them, not my older cousins. I was going to scare whoever was under the blanket. I had a feeling the two of them were trying to mess with me, but now the joke was on them. I was going to scare whoever was under that blanket. I tiptoed on the carpet to the corner of the room and yanked the blanket off whoever it was and started screaming to scare them. But instead of hearing one of my cousin's childish screams, I heard nothing. Then a very strong grip grabbed me. Whoever it was went for my neck as soon as they felt where it was in the dark. For a few seconds, I thought it was Chris roughhousing me, and I was screaming at him to stop,
I would have
but
been
this felt
gone.
like the grip of a grown man. I started to scream for my life with whatever air was able to escape my lungs.
Nah.
The door to the basement
You
opened
almost
and the
got
light
packed
turned
up.
on, revealing an old, dirty, disheveled looking man. He let me go and ran to the basement door which led to the backyard, not the basement door that led to the upstairs. Half my family came
Oh.
rushing down. I was crying and screaming he went that way, pointing at the open backyard basement door. Two of my uncles ran outside to try to find him, while my mom and aunts came to my side to try to comfort me as I was crying. I was literally shook. My whole body
This
was
cannot be
shaking and
real.
I felt ill.
That's why you need
My
that
mother called the police to
that
report
Glock on you,
this.
bro.
My
If it was
uncles were out
me,
in the streets for like
fa
20
fa
minutes
fa.
looking from house to house for the man. But
Three
it made no
shots
sense
to
because
the
it didn't look
dome.
like he would have been able to make it too far, which makes me think he was hiding somewhere in the backyard or a neighbor's yard. The officer said it sounded like some homeless squatter hiding from the cold, and that they'd gotten a number of these calls that month. That didn't make things sound any better after that allegedly homeless man had his hand around my neck. My cousins were trying to pull a prank on me, hence why they turned the light off and shut the door originally. But this was obviously
Whoa.
not part of their plan. So my family learned a valuable lesson at my horrifying expense. Always keep every single entrance to your house locked at all times.
Wait, that ass. You gotta keep every door locked, every window locked, everything locked, because you never know. Like sometimes I think about that. What if someone was to
It was
just
Christmas Eve
break
night.
into my
I was a
house,
little kid.
but it's
My
Canada?
dad
Like,
was briefly
who's gonna
dating
break
this
into my
woman
house in
named
Canada?
Sydney. My mom died when I was really young, so for most of my childhood, I didn't know what it was like having a motherly figure in the house. When my
Hmm.
dad started seeing Sydney, she would spend the weekends at our house once in a while, and my siblings and I liked that. Sydney always seemed like a decent woman, but I was a little kid, and I was perhaps biased because I just liked having a woman in the house. It
Whoa, what
was
does it mean by
Christmas
that?
Eve. Sydney was spending the weekend with us for Christmas. I don't think she had much family herself. We watched the movie Elf as a family, my brother, sister, dad,
I
and
still have not
Sydney.
watched that movie.
After the movie ended, my dad and Sydney went to bed. I stayed up with my brother a little later to watch the Polar Express.
I
Around the
haven't
time the
watched that
movie
movie.
ended, Sydney came downstairs to tell us that it's maybe time to go to sleep. I was
You
young,
like my
but I
hair?
was old enough to be suspicious about Santa Claus by now, and I had a feeling it was always my dad putting the gifts under the tree. I went to my room to play video games for a few hours. I snuck out of my room around 12 o'clock to see if the presents were under the tree yet. My bedroom was the only bedroom on the den level, so every other bedroom was upstairs. The
Okay.
living room and tree were on the first level, a half flight of stairs above my bedroom. I snuck out of
How?
my room and tiptoed up the stairs.
So he's living
I
in the
peered into
basement.
the living room, which was lit up by the Christmas tree. There were presents under there, and there was Sydney under the tree. At first, I thought she was placing the gifts there, and I thought I was right all along, that Santa wasn't real. But I quickly realized she wasn't placing the gifts there. She was shaking them, like trying to figure out what's inside of the boxes.
Okay.
She picked up one gift, which was in a gift bag, started digging through it, and pulled out something that looked like it was for my sister, like makeup. She
Hmm.
analyzed it and put it back in the bag. I didn't know what
So
she
was
was
she
doing,
stealing?
but I kept watching.
She was stealing.
I saw her walk to the kitchen and go to the ledge where my dad keeps his wallet. What I saw next, I
Nah.
couldn't believe. She went through my dad's wallet and took out a few bills and put it in the pocket of her pajama pants. I kept
Damn.
watching as she went into the cabinet above the ledge, the medicine cabinet.
Nah,
She
she's a
took out what looked to
klepto.
be one of my dad's prescription medication bottles, and she started analyzing it. She opened it, sniffed it, and then looked to her left, right at me.
Yeah, you gotta
It was
leave.
as if she was about to do something very bad and
You
was
gotta
checking that the
leave.
coast was clear first, and she saw me right away. Her eyes widened, and she put the bottle back in the cabinet. I hurried down the stairs back to my room and crawled
Bro,
into
why is
bed,
his
with my
why is the
little
kid's
kid
room
mind thinking I
downstairs?
somehow
That
could
is
still pretend
worse.
to be asleep. Seconds later, the door creaked open and then
Bro, I would
shut.
have ran
I
upstairs,
didn't
bro, to
look,
my
but I
dad.
didn't know if she entered the room or not. A few minutes passed, and I finally felt it was safe to check if she was gone. I looked up, and Sydney was standing right over my bed. I gasped and almost screamed. She looked down at me. All I could see was the silhouette of her figure, making the sight of her
Dog,
even
he
creepier.
wasn't smart. Why would you
She
run
said she saw
downstairs,
me
bro? Run
watching her
upstairs to your
and
dad.
said in this angry whisper that she wasn't doing anything wrong. She just wanted to make sure my dad was taking his medication. I replied, okay, and she said Merry Christmas and left the room.
Okay.
The next day, after we opened gifts, my dad came into the living room angrily and said, "Who took $60 out of my wallet?" I looked at Sydney right away, who glanced back at me as if she knew that I knew.
Damn.
At that moment, I didn't tell my dad what I saw. But later that day, when my dad was still angry at my siblings and I, thinking one of us did it, I told him the truth of what I saw. My dad didn't
He
believe
didn't
me at
believe? Of
first, but when
course.
I
Of
told him that
course.
she was going through his
He's
medication
whipped.
too, he started to believe me because why would I lie about that? Later that night, this created for a rather loud conversation between the two of them. But shockingly, my dad didn't ask Sydney to leave. She didn't admit to stealing his money, and I think my dad simply didn't know what to do. That
Dumbass.
night, I had my bedroom door locked,
Understandable
which
though.
my dad always told us to never do. But I just felt safer with it locked that night, and thank God I did lock it. Because around the same time as the night before, I heard the doorknob to my bedroom door jiggle a few times. It was
She was,
undoubtedly her, which
she
the
was trying
next
to get
day
him
I
packed up.
confirmed when I asked my dad if it was him, and he said no. After she left that night, I begged and pleaded my dad to not have her over anymore because she scared me, and it looked like she was going to do something to his medication. I'm grateful my dad listened to me because he stopped seeing Sydney shortly after that. I
Hmm.
wonder what she was actually going to do to his medication if she didn't notice me watching her.
Well, why would she sniff it though? She's a weird one. Story three. Okay. So far, they haven't been scary, but like, just weird people.
Christmas night of 2021. It was a
Okay.
Saturday night. I went up to Vermont to be with my family for the holiday and stay
Where's
with them for the
Vermont at?
weekend. I was staying there from Saturday, Christmas Day, to Monday. For Christmas Eve, I went with my girlfriend to her family's gathering. For actual Christmas, I'd be with mine. She didn't come with me, though. Our Christmas gathering wasn't huge since our family's so spread out over the East Coast. It was my parents, my older brother, his girlfriend, my aunt and uncle, and myself. The house is big enough to accommodate all of us. We
Mm-hmm.
all did our
That's a
family
big
tradition of
house.
watching a movie together
Damn,
after
two
dinner with the
garages.
fireplace
It's a
going.
big house.
This year we watched Bad Santa, one of my
But that's
dad's
like a
favorite Christmas
scary house,
movies.
like a scary
After the
movie
movie,
house.
we had pumpkin pie and ice cream, and afterwards played cards. Around 11, everyone started to get situated wherever they were sleeping. My brother and his girlfriend took one of the two spare bedrooms, and my aunt and uncle took the
Mm-hmm.
second. There was a nice pull-out couch in the living room that I'd be sleeping on, which I did not mind. I liked being able to sleep by the fireplace and tree. It was very cozy. I had the TV on as I was nodding off. When I felt
Mm-hmm.
that I was about to fall asleep, I turned off the TV and Christmas tree lights. The fire was breathing its last breaths, and the room was just about pitch black.
You leave the fire
My
on?
memory faded into a dream actually about Christmas and my family. Only in my
Shit.
dream, we weren't at my parents' house, we were at my uncle's house, and more of my family members were there, like my cousin Jackie and my aunt Melissa.
Okay.
It wasn't a very exciting or unusual dream.
Bro, what's the weirdest
We were
dream
at the
y'all have
dinner
had?
table when suddenly
I've
all
had
of my
some weird
family members
dreams.
in my dream stopped talking, turned and looked at me, and my aunt Melissa said in a very serious voice, "There's someone in the house, wake up." I actually woke up after this, and my heart was already racing for some
Okay, this
reason.
one's kind of
The way
okay.
my dream ended genuinely disturbed me. I sat up and looked around the dark room, actually feeling uncomfortable. The super high ceiling of the living room made me feel even more exposed. I heard a creak in the floor where the kitchen and living room meet.
Nah.
I looked in that direction. The fire was completely out now. There was no light in the room. Yet I thought I could see a person standing right where the kitchen starts. I said, "Is someone there?" expecting one of my family members to answer back. They didn't. The silhouette looking shadow in the doorway of the kitchen was still there, though. I sat up just a little
Yo,
more to look closer at the
bro,
doorway.
you need that, bro. You
The
need that,
silhouette then
that
started
grip.
moving. It was a person. "Who is that?" I said louder. Whoever it was went towards the back door, and I heard the back door close. I started screaming for my family to wake up, and everyone came out of their rooms. Everyone. So what I had just seen was none of my family members. So my dad, brother, uncle, and I threw on our shoes and coats and ran out into the cold looking around. We found
No,
a set of footprints in the snow leading into the woods. Mind you, it was
that's
like 2 in the
crazy,
morning, and the neighboring houses aren't exactly on
bro.
top of
How do
each
you just
other.
have the mind
So
to
none of
go
us
into
were
someone's house
exactly
like that?
eager to go into the woods following some unknown person's footsteps. We instead called the police, and while we waited for them, my brother and I stood in the backyard watching the woods. The creepy pitch black woods where someone was hiding, potentially looking back at us without our knowledge. Everyone else was
Damn.
inside, looking to see if anything was stolen, and surprisingly, nothing of serious value was missing. But also, it's not like my parents had jewelry or money just sitting out in the open on the first floor. The police officers who came followed the footprints into the woods as far as they could until the trail seemed to disappear or just became impossible to follow. They had not gotten any other calls regarding break
Yo,
ins
how
yet,
did they never
at
find these
least not
people
to that
though?
point.
Like, first of all, how do
The
you leave
next
your
day,
thing, your
nothing was
door
on the news
open?
about any break ins either, so it may have just been a one off fluke thing where my parents' house happened to be the target of someone trying to steal valuables, like expensive Christmas presents potentially.
It could have gone
I'll
very
tell
bad
you
for
one
that
thing
dude.
though, I had a rough time falling asleep that following night in that living room again. The image of that person in the doorway to the kitchen still haunts me.
I'm not gonna lie. First things first, how did they never find them? Secondly, how how do you leave your door open, bro? Why do you leave your door open? Let me know. I might react to this on three disturbing true hospitals horror stories. But let me know what y'all think, man. What do y'all think? I'm not gonna lie. The first two were like disturbing, like weird, but then the second one, like I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Maybe it was the music, but the dream and everything that kind of got to me. I'm not gonna lie. That kind of got to me. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna see you on another video. Damn, it's kind of scary, man. I wasn't scared though. I was just disturbed. Peace.